Hey everybody, welcome to Loud State here on theempiremedia.com. I'm Matt Hernandez. We're back this week. Josh is with me. How are you doing tonight, Josh?
I'm good. I'm laughing at myself here.
What did you mess up?
After 10 plus years of podcasting on social media, I still evidently don't know how to work anything. Thought I was just sharing our show to some various things, and evidently all I was doing was commenting on our own link. So it's just a random comment on the link. Come join Josh and Adam on Loud State. It's like people are gonna read it like, we're already listening to Loud State, dumbass. Yeah, I'm not too bright. What are you gonna do though?
That's okay. That's all right. Anyway, so again, welcome everybody. It's been a little bit since we've been on, since our last show. I believe our last show was in April.
Oh wow!
So yeah, okay. There's definitely been some time between then and now, but
good to be back, man.
Yeah, good to be back with this show. Definitely, we've got a couple of topics tonight for you, and then we're gonna get into our throwback and our new release of the week. First, though, I just want to get right into it.
Sure.
Obviously, we're starting a little bit late. We've got the XCast coming up next, also right here on theempiremedia.com, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But starting things out with our main topic of the night, actually, we'll go ahead and get into that, the worst genres in music, because, Josh, as you know, I'm a music genre fiend.
Yeah,
I like my genres. I like placing music into genres, and I don't know why I'm like that. I just like things to be categorized.
Can I ask you one question about?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is some music multi-genre? Not like a bunch of them, but can some music or some artists be classified as two different genres?
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
because if that is tolerable to you, then I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I think that, well, and sometimes though, like the genres will like the names will kind of mold into each other. Take for instance, back during the 90s, there was a genre of music called rapcore.
Okay,
it's a real thing. Trust me, it's out there. Rapcore, when Limp Bizkit first came out,
okay,
they would have been classified as rapcore.
Because they're rap and hard rock.
Yes,
basically.
Yes,
or rap and wait, did you say rap and hard rock or rap and metal? I don't even know.
Rap
and hard rock probably
rap and like hardcore. I
because
guess
you know what? One thing I do, I might actually take this farther than you, Adam.
What is that?
Because I don't like too many genres. When I hear like some genres that I feel like, some of them I feel like, oh, that's goofy and made up. Pick a real genre that they're part of.
No, that's a real genre.
Yeah, but I some of them I don't buy into. Well, I feel like pick one.
Well,
I'd rather say they're rap and hard rock than they're rapcore.
No, you're wrong, but that's all right. You could classify Rage Against the Machine as that at one time.
Hey, if there's enough bands that truly qualify as rapcore, then I'm on board with rapcore.
No, I see what you're saying, and
I just don't like inventing a new genre because a band has a kind of different sound.
No, I see what you're saying. There's some bands out there that are a little harder to distinguish. Like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They're a band that they do a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. Now they're more of an alternative type of band, an alternative rock type of band. But they definitely divulged themselves into a bunch of different genres when they were
For
first
sure.
coming out.
Like to me, Red Hot Chili Peppers, I would just call, like, especially back in the day, retro Chili Peppers. I would just call them a hard rock band with some serious funk throwback.
I mean, they were. Mother's Milk was awful though. That's one album that, you know, if you're a Chili Pepper fan, you might just want to forget.
Yeah, their cover of Higher Ground is great.
Yeah,
it's a great radio song.
Yeah,
but you could almost not count that song
mm-hmm.
since it's the one cover song on an original album. And it's like, oh, Mother's Milk, that's great. It's got the Higher Ground song. Well, yeah, I love that cover too. I love the original version, and I love the Chili Peppers version.
Yeah,
but it's just a kick-ass cover. You know, the rest of the album, I'm with you. The rest.
It's
of the
garbage.
Yeah,
it's garbage. But you know what? I mean, some bands come out with good first albums. Other bands don't. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be talking about an album later on in our throwback. For our throwback album of the week, and it's one of those bands that I thought their first album was really, really good, but they've changed so much since that first album, and I think that's okay. I think that's okay in a lot of from a lot of different aspects. Some bands come out with very, very good first albums, and they trail off from there. I think actually Limp Bizkit is one of those bands. I enjoyed Limp Bizkit's first album. I think what was it called, like $5 Bill Y'all or something like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good album. Other than that, everything else that they came out with after that was dog shit.
I was never a Limp Bizkit fan. I guess the only thing, if you wanna, I'll concede your point. Yeah, that their first album was kind of legit. But
it was a hell of a lot better than anything else they did.
For sure. After that, if you're listening to Limp Bizkit, the only thing to me worth listening to, again, is 2 cover songs. I like their version of Faith.
Yeah.
And I like what they did with the Mission Impossible theme for MI2.
Yeah.
Other than that, after their first album, really, what do you even need to...
Yeah, it's garbage. Now, obviously, a lot of bands, but I always hated that... I hate getting into this because I always hate liking singles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it seems like I always like singles too.
Hey,
but I hate
this
like
day and age, it's hard.
It's
hard to be like that.
I hate liking singles just because I don't want to be that person that that just likes singles or whatever. But,
I'm with you, and actually, I shouldn't even say it's hard to be like that nowadays because it actually isn't hard to do it. It's easy to do it. It's just you're a hater.
Yeah.
You know? And I get classified as a hater of modern stuff a lot. And you know what? I don't necessarily think it's true, but I'll own it. You know, I'll accept it.
I hate being the cliche guy though. It always says, "Oh well, their early stuff was always so much better." But I mean, that's the type of stuff you seem to run into a lot.
I'm that guy a lot. I don't try to be.
Hey, one of your favorite bands, Aerosmith. That's one of that's one of them. Their earlier stuff was so much better.
Yes, that is true, but but they didn't go downhill from their first album. Though.
No, they didn't.
I mean, not at all.
It's just their first album.
They debut in '73. Their mid to late '70s stuff is their best stuff, and then they still had some good stuff in the 1990s. Too. You're talking 20 years later.
Yeah.
The new stuff sucks. And when I say new stuff, I mean, if it happened in this millennium, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Don't even talk to me about it.
Let's go and get to the worst genres of music. Because like I said, I am a genre fiend. I like to categorize stuff. And I want to know, what are the genres that you just can't stand from? I mean, you could look at this from 2 different standpoints here, because I can certainly say that I don't like one genre because of from a talent standpoint, and I don't like it. I don't like actually various genres from just like a pure taste standpoint. I don't know if you want to take it first, Josh.
I can if you want.
Go ahead.
If you want. In past episodes of this show, I have said that I'm not a big country fan and I'm not a big rap fan. Those aren't really my favorite things. But when we're talking least favorite genres of music, there's some that blow those two genres out of the water.
Yeah.
And basically, for me, that's dance, techno, dubstep.
Ugh.
You know, I mean, these are the genres that, and hey, if you like them, hey, cool. I'm not hating on any individual out there who likes them, but to me, these are trash. I cannot stand them. I want nothing to do with them. Where rap and country, again, two genres that I typically will tell people, do you like rap, Josh? No, not really. Do you like country, Josh? No, not really. But I can give you a list of 100 rap songs that I think are awesome. And I could probably give you a list, it'd be harder, but a list of 100 country songs. There'd be a whole lot of Eagles on there. But I could do it. I could give you a list of 100, country songs that I like. Dance beats, techno, no, not at all. Dubstep, no. If that's a genre, well,
it is. Yeah,
okay. I mean, I'll defer to the expert. Is dubstep a genre?
It is a genre.
Okay, then it's a genre I hate.
Yeah, it's bad. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I can't. I don't like. See, I know there's. I'm not an expert when it comes to this because I just don't know the music that well. It's because I know I don't like it. I know there may be some distinctions between techno and electronic music. Okay. Electronic may in fact be the all-encompassing kind of umbrella genre of that.
Okay.
Kind of like, well, I know people sometimes get hip-hop and rap. A lot of people think, oh, well, what's the difference? My personal belief in that is that hip-hop is more or less the lifestyle. There's different aspects of hip-hop. There's your look, your style, your personal style. There's tagging, and then there's music. The music is called rap. So that's the difference.
I can see that.
In my personal opinion.
That's like, and do you know what I think there's an issue here too, is that because we're not big fans of these genres, of these particular genres, we tend to lump them together in one big genre.
You talking about electronic?
Yeah, electronic, or techno, or whatever you want to lump it in as. Where maybe it's better to say like electronic. Electronic is more akin to like rock and roll. Like I view at this point rock and roll, that's not a genre.
No, that's
like, to me that's like the genus, and then hard rock is the species. Hard rock or heavy metal, or what.
That's a good way of putting it, because rock and roll was what started a bunch of different stuff.
Sure.
You can't go out and say I like rock and roll. Okay, well, so you like.
Yeah, I love rock and roll. I hate acid rock. Acid rock is rock and roll.
So you like Chubby Checker and Anthrax then?
Right.
I mean,
maybe you do.
Yeah, maybe you do, but I'm sure Anthrax fans don't like Chubby Checker. I'm going to go out and make an assumption that most Anthrax fans don't like Chubby Checker.
Well, and even if Anthrax fans do like Chubby Checker, if they showed up to an Anthrax show and the guys from Anthrax were like, we're going to do a whole Chubby Checker album tonight. People would be like, what? Like, wait, hang on. Like, no, I came here to see Anthrax. If they were like, hey, we're gonna start with a few of our own songs.
I don't want to hear a cover of Blueberry Hill. I'm sorry.
It's like, we're gonna do a couple of our own songs, but then we're gonna rock, like, we're gonna do Chubby Checker's entire greatest hits album.
No, I hear you. I'm with you though. I'm not a fan. Like, a group like the Chemical Brothers, I cannot stand the Chemical Brothers.
I'm with you there.
Even if I'm sitting there listening to like Sirius and I have like Lithium on, they'll start playing the Chemical Brothers. Like, this isn't.
What genre would you say that is? You're the genre expert.
Genre of Chemical Brothers? Probably techno.
Okay.
Yeah, probably techno. Not a fan. I think it's awful.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. That's probably what I would say too. But I wasn't really sure and didn't even know where to put them, to be honest.
Another one for me, it's country.
Country.
I hate country. I hate everything about country. It doesn't matter what era of country. It doesn't matter if it's like an outlaw type country. I don't care if it's a new age country, classic country. I don't like any of it. And I know that the newer country, it really doesn't. I mean, you could kind of hear the roots, kind of like the grassroots of country music to it. I still think it's garbage. I don't like it. I know the Dixie Chicks were another one of those kind of new age country bands. I don't like it.
That is pulling teeth.
Yeah,
I would much rather go to the dentist.
I cannot stand it. And I'm not saying that this isn't a talent. I fully believe that, you want to play country music, you have to, if you want to play good country music, within that taste, because I know that there's plenty of people out there that love country music.
Absolutely.
And you need to be talented to go out and play it. I'm not saying that you can't be talented. I just don't like the music. I cannot dig on the music. I think it's just not my cup of tea. I don't like the twanginess of it. No. I don't like the subject matter. Twang. Yeah, it's just not something that I can relate to. I mean, there's plenty of people up north here too that like country music. And there was a time and a place too when country music was huge. It was huge. I think it's died down a little bit though. It's just not something that I could get into. There's nothing about country music that I like. Nothing about it whatsoever.
Yeah, I have a feeling that, like I said, if someone said, okay, Josh, give me a list of 100 country songs you like, I feel like there'd be next to nothing from this century. I mean, really next to nothing from this century. And it would be, I feel like a lot of country fans would potentially take issue with my thing. Like, I feel like I'd give a list of 100 country songs I like, and then it would be sent back, like, 37 of these don't count.
Yeah.
Like, no, get rid of all these Allman Brothers songs. I'm like, oh, if I can't use the Allman Brothers, then
I guess I don't like country.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, yeah, like I said, it'd be a whole bunch of Eagles, it'd be a bunch of Johnny Cash. It'd be I don't think you like Johnny Cash. I do.
See, I just can't do it.
I like some Johnny Cash. I gotta be in the right mood, But yeah, I like Johnny Cash. I like love the Eagles. Huge Eagles fan.
I wouldn't classify them as country.
I feel like I don't really classify the Eagles as country either, but I feel like if the Eagles came out today, they would be country.
Maybe.
They would call them country. I feel like even if the Eagles came out like post 1996, they would call them country. I'm actually like certain of that, that they would call the Eagles country. Now I know I wouldn't be dumb enough to put like Hotel California on the list, but Take It Easy and Lionize and stuff. But, any Eagles song sung by Glenn Frey, I feel like could potentially be on that list. But if like country purists are gonna smack down stuff like that, then I'm be hard pressed to come up with that list.
I'm not even gonna try. There's nothing. I think there's some guy like Willie Nelson. I think Willie Nelson's cool as hell. I think that guy is cool as hell. He's still playing. I
think he's talented. I think he's funny.
Still making music.
Cool.
Oh yeah. I don't like the music. I just can't. I can't listen to the music. It's just not something that appeals to me.
I would be the same way with rap too. Like I could come up easily with like a bunch of rap songs that I like, and I could listen to Snoop and Dre and Ice Cube all night. That stuff. I dig on that stuff. That's cool. But they would, if I handed over the list of 100 rap songs that I loved, they would say, were you gonna put anything from this century? Like no, I didn't plan on it. There certainly wouldn't be any Kanye West on there. There wouldn't be anything like that.
I feel bad too because I know a lot.
And I know he's a talent.
He's a talent.
And same with
he's a big talent.
Puff Daddy, Sean Puffy Combs, whatever. P Diddy, whatever he's being
called. Never got in.
Can't do it.
I never got into any Puff Daddy stuff. To me, Puff Daddy was. it didn't seem like Puff Daddy was real. It seemed like he was too much
I
of the.
agree.
It seemed like he was too much of the corporate aspect of it.
I agree.
Who just wanted to rap too.
Yeah, horn in on it.
I love Biggie. Biggie was great.
Yeah.
Obviously,
more of a Tupac guy than Biggie.
Snoop Dogg, Tupac. I love. It doesn't matter East Coast, West Coast. I love it.
Sure.
Wu-Tang Clan. Loved Wu-Tang Clan.
Never could get into it.
Snoop. Love Snoop. I just couldn't get into Puff Daddy. Couldn't do it, or Mace, or anything like that. But anyways, did you want to take another genre? Let's go ahead and do this for about another 5 minutes.
Okay. Another genre. This is the only genres we don't like.
Yes.
Right. Okay. What? I feel like you can't say pop as a genre because I feel like anything popular is pop. What genre? I'll defer to the genre expert. What genre? These are two different ones I'm asking you. This is gonna make me look like a misogynist, and I didn't even realize it. But what genre is like Tori Amos, Sarah McLachlan, Fiona Apple kind of thing?
Let's see. You gotta take a look at when this came out. Fiona Apple, Tori Amos, Sarah McLachlan, came out during early to mid 90s.
Because if they're going to be lumped into alternative or something, well, I love alternative, but I feel like that's something maybe a little different.
See, I would classify them as like a 90s soft rock.
Okay.
That's probably what I would classify.
Maybe soft rock is a genre that I don't care for, and that doesn't mean that I don't ever like a soft song.
I like Tori Amos too.
Yeah, not a lot of people do. I don't. And what is Beyonce? Like that whole, not just her, but what is like that kind of pop?
See that one. See, Beyonce is. I would classify Beyonce as. I think you go into like an R&B.
Okay.
See, she's like a bunch of different stuff. You go in R&B with her. You can go into an hip hop sometimes.
Okay.
Rap.
Because I guess I'm not an R&B guy, but I like old school R&B.
Yep.
It doesn't mean I don't like Luther Vandross,
Yep.
or something along those lines. But maybe not. Yeah, I'm not cool with saying I don't like R&B, but if there's a modern R&B, then perhaps I'm not real big on that. So yeah, I would go with that for sure.
Yeah.
Another genre, I think this would count as a genre that I don't care for when it comes to listening to it myself. But I know that this is something that takes perhaps even a superior level of talent than the vast majority of genres out there. I don't like listening to instrumental stuff.
Do you like the vocals in there?
Yeah, I do not. I've never been somebody who can sit and listen to instrumental music for an hour or hours. I'm not into that. And hey, the guys playing instrumental music,
sure,
the people and the men and women in an orchestra or something. That's a talent that's actually usually above and beyond, but not my thing, man.
I like the because I know first wave ska type of stuff. That was all instrumental. I'm with you though. I prefer to have vocals, in my music. I prefer there to be a vocalist in there. I know there's some other bands out there too. I believe there's this metal band called Pelican. I believe that's what they're called. They are basically an all instrumental metal band. I think they're called Pelican. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's all instrumental metal. It's cool sounding.
Yeah.
But it seems like at some point you're waiting for the vocals to come in, and they don't come in.
I know a lot of people. A lot, yeah. Several people, quite a few people, that their two favorite genres of music are metal and classical.
Really?
Metal and classical, I think, have a ton in common. And I know a ton of metal guys, famous, like, not that I know them personally, but, a ton of very famous metal guys will say that their favorite type of music is classical. And that's their biggest inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of bands too. I mean, there's been some metal bands that have taken from, certain classical songs, something like Beethoven. And there's this one band called Botch, and this is another genre that I'm going to throw out at you, is mathcore.
Okay.
Mathcore is a very technical type of metal. That's what it is.
Okay.
A lot of stops, a lot of jerking back and forth between verses, the highs and the lows. Botch is a very, very good band. Another band was Dillinger Escape Plan too. What was the classical song? I'll have to bring it up next time, or put a link to it on the podcast when it goes up. But it was a great song. Again, you have to be metal is one of those, especially when you divulge yourself into more of these specific genres within metal and hardcore. It's definitely something that is an acquired taste. You don't like it or you hate, or you're not in between on it. You either like it or you don't like it. But I mean, I've seen bands take like classical stuff, classical orchestra type stuff, like a Beethoven or a Mozart, and use that within their own music, and it sounds really cool. It sounds really cool, the different stuff that they do with it. Real quick, another one that I don't like. I'm not a big disco fan. I don't want to say I'm not even a big disco fan. So it sounds like there's some disco that I like. I don't like any disco. I think disco sucks. I would have been right there if I was alive during the disco demolition night. I think that was at Old Comiskey Park, when they were lighting firecrackers and things were just going out of hand. I hate disco. I think it was one of the worst genres, worst movements in music, right up there too with boy bands. I think
that's the one I was going to say.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead and take it. Go ahead and take it away.
You know what? When it comes to boy bands, I feel like nowadays you got people our age. I'm in my late 30s. I know you're not in your late 30s yet, but you're in the 30s. And I feel like there's a lot of people that the garbage, and I'm gonna go the shit that was out when we were younger, the boy bands. Now people are like, oh yeah, Backstreet Boys. Oh, I love that. Like, no, it sucked then. It sucked. It sucks now.
It was
Backstreet is not back, all right?
It was a sad time in music.
No,
it really
they're terrible.
It was a sad time in music because you know what? It followed up, in my opinion, one of the great times in music.
Yeah.
The early to mid 90s was such a good time in music, whether you're talking about grunge, or whether you're talking about alternative rock, or they're talking about gangster rap. It was such a good time, and to have it follow up with boy bands, and just just this garbage pop shit that came out afterwards. It was really unfortunate to have, and maybe that's what happens though, because you see what happened in you see what disco followed up. Disco followed up one of the great times of classic, of rock music.
No, I like where you're going with this, Adam. This is a great correlation that I've never thought of.
Yeah,
before.
I mean, it just seems like that's what happens with music. Disco, there's people out there that like disco. Obviously, there's people out there that love, it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad music. But disco followed up, again, arguably one of the greatest times in music. I mean, you're talking about bands out there like Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, the Who. I mean, all of those bands, legendary classic rock bands. To have it followed up with disco, it was really, really unfortunate.
Yeah. No, really, boy bands are the disco of the 90s.
Yeah, and it lasted. to the early 2000s as well. And I hesitate to say that we really recovered from that, but music nowadays is just so wide open now, and it's really because, and we've talked about it on past shows before, it's really because of the way that there's no more tangible music anymore.
No, there isn't.
No, I mean, yes, you can go out and get CDs, and you can go out and get records and everything, but people, find new music, whether you're listening to Sirius or listening to, streaming, Apple Music, Spotify, whatever. I mean, it's not the same as it was 20 years ago. So things are much different. Things are much more wide open. You have to go out and actually find your music nowadays.
You do. You do.
One other one for me, and this may be a surprise to you, Josh, because I actually love the genre in general. Old school punk rock. Don't like it.
Oh, I'm with you.
And I'm talking about from a talent perspective here. I appreciate what bands like the Dead Kennedys, the Sex Pistols, the Ramones were able to do, and just how they were pioneers for the genre. Old school punk rock, though, is really quite talentless. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's just power chords. That's all it is.
I mean, the most you can do with that kind of music is you can talk about how well they influenced other people. Okay, they influenced some people, but what they did was ass.
Yes,
okay?
It was garbage.
Yeah, I mean,
it was garbage.
There's nothing to it. There's nothing to it. And maybe you like something, maybe you don't. And I do, going back to it, Adam, I know we're short on time, but I love your correlation between disco and boy bands, because I just feel like the only thing you can say nice about those is, oh, but it's so catchy. Like, no, I think I want my music to be good.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Not just catchy.
And Josh, I hate how the era of music, because that was the end of an era when it came to music. Because music, as we know it now, is never going to be the same as the MTV heyday and shit like it. It's just not gonna be the same. I hated how that era of music ended. I really, really do. Because it seems like boy bands, and it just ended it. It just ended it, and it'll never. It's hard to explain, but just I don't know. Like I said, old school punk rock. Not a fan of it. But I do love punk rock in general. Another one. I hate hair metal.
I like hair metal.
I hate hair metal. Thank God for bands like Jane's Addiction, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No, grunge brought hair metal to an end, and that's good.
Thank you so much.
I do like hair metal. I actually do. That's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend it at all. If somebody wants to rag on it,
that's fine. I'm glad you're not going to try to defend it. Which brings us,
and there's a lot of it that even I think sucks, but there's some that.
Well, which brings us to our next topic here. Is there a genre of music out there, or is bad taste in music? Is that a deal breaker for you in any relationship that you may have?
I feel like this is a good thing to be a deal breaker on.
Okay.
It's not for me. It might be with friendships to a certain degree. When it comes to relationships, I think this is something that people should explore. I never have. For me, I always go for something a little more deeper. I usually choose my romantic relationships purely on breast size. But
at least you're honest.
But music would be a better one, though. Maybe I'd be more successful in my past experiences.
In your personal
in my personal relationship. Because I don't think this is a problem. I think that's probably a good idea to look at somebody's musical taste, because I think it's telling.
Hey, we're all about revelations here on Loud State. So.
Yeah, I mean, like Adam and I are pretty tight. We agree on nothing on politics, but I feel like we're on the same page a lot.
There's some stuff on politics.
Yeah. No, there is some stuff. There is some stuff on politics, But I feel like with music, we're much more.
I think
on
we're
the same page.
I think we're more in tune with music.
And even when we disagree on stuff in music, it's because we both like a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
So it's like
Josh doesn't call me a statist or a communist if I like, if I like rap and
Right.
he doesn't. So
right, right, exactly.
For me, it would have to be. Again, I'm lucky. I think my wife likes some cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
She does like some good music. She's really getting into a lot of indie type of stuff also.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's really getting into that, and I'm giving it. I'm listening to some of it. Some of it's good. Some of it is not as good, but for the most part, I like it. I like that she's kind of expanding. Her what she's listening to, and she's like me. She likes a vast variety of different things. She likes rap. She likes she likes some punk rock stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's really getting into this indie stuff now. She's even like some of the more girl type stuff also.
Sure.
And I know her friend too. Is they're kind of going back and forth as well. It seems like with some of this indie stuff and more obscure stuff that you wouldn't hear on a top 40s type of station, which I'm glad. I'm glad she doesn't listen to that stuff all the time. I mean, I could tell you though. I mean, if we were first meeting up and everything, but because music is it's an icebreaker. It certainly is when you're sitting there talking with other people about it. If all she liked was country, and she was all about going to these Kenny Chesney concerts and in that garbage. I don't know if we'd be married now. I mean, I might think she's pretty cool about some other stuff.
One of my ex-wives is a huge country fan.
Yeah,
and that should have been a tell.
I like how you say one of my ex-wives.
Hey, for you in your case though, Adam, it was like a match made in heaven. I mean, you don't like to talk about this, but you don't talk about it on air much. But I mean, this makes you look cool. I mean, your wife was the hot chick who was hanging out with the band, and you were in the band when you met her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were the bass player in the band that your wife was coming to see when you met her. So I mean, that's
she wasn't coming to see me.
She came to a show and you were playing.
Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty freaking cool, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
How else would a goofy looking dude like you get a chick that looks like your old lady? You must be a bass player for a cool ass band.
Yeah, I definitely have a look of probably of a bass player too, because they're never the guys out in front. They're not the singer. They're not the lead guitar player. They're not even the lead. They're not even the rhythm guitar player. They're the John Paul Jones who don't get a call back.
Yeah, exactly. When Page and Plant want to get together and do all the songs that you co-wrote, we're like, do we need that guy? We could pay somebody like minimum wage to be our bass player.
You know what? Funny story too. You bring that up. I was in a band in high school. One time there was a show that they all went to. I couldn't make it that night because I think I wasn't feeling good or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I was watching Roger Rabbit on my couch. I wasn't feeling good. So I get a call or like an instant message or something later on that night saying, "Hey man, one of the bands dropped out at the show tonight, so we went and played without you." I was like, whatever. But you could do that though. You can't go and play a show without your guitar players. But you can
so did they get somebody to fill in for you on bass?
No, they just
played bassless.
They just played bassless. Yeah. So
yeah, I bet they didn't sound as solid though.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I was definitely the guy that brought everything together.
That's what the bass player does, man.
Yeah, I guess. Goes to show you don't need to use the bass player to play a show.
The last band I was in, it was a 4-piece, and they were talking, and there was just a bass and a lead guitar. They both could do either. They were both great guitar players. They both could play they both could easily be a lead guitar player. They both could be the bass player too.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the one dude, the guitar player, was talking about bringing in another dude.
Yeah.
And he was just saying like, hey, I got this guy, he plays guitar, and he was like, like, yeah, I think he'd be really good, bring in for rhythm guitar. And Bill, the guy who was playing bass, was like, well, whoa, if we bring somebody in, we need to get ourselves a bass player. Like, I'm not gonna. He was like, I don't mind being the bass player to you on lead guitar, but like, we're not bringing in some young punk and he's gonna like take the other spot. He's like, I'm playing bass because you play guitar. It was a big argument. Not a big argument, but it was an argument.
So he didn't want anybody to take his place.
Yeah,
his place that he should have first dibs on.
Right. He was saying like, if we're getting somebody else, we're gonna get a bass player, and I want to play guitar with you. And so it's kind of it was an ordeal.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, no, I didn't blame him either.
All right, Josh.
He was more of a bluesy dude, and the other,
really?
and we played more rock, and the other guy was more a rock guy. So it was the natural thing that he would play bass for us instead.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a throwback album of the week?
I do.
What is it?
This is a cheater one. It's
okay,
a cheater one. Because this isn't a throwback. This is a throwback for like me and like 7 other people.
Mm-hmm.
Not to rip on the band.
It's not Nico Blue.
No.
Okay.
This is a band that I used to follow in high school. I used to work for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Eyed Soul.
Mm-hmm.
Their Delicious album. I wanted to bring this on the show because a few weeks ago I pulled this out and I started listening to it. And I was just like, I should listen to this. I used to listen to these guys all the time. I used to follow them a lot around the Metro Detroit area. And even kind of outside the Metro Detroit area too. And I put it in and I was just like, man, this stuff still sounds so good. It's like, the band together is so tight. The guitar is amazing. The vocals are different but very cool. And this is a guy that we have had on our podcast before.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Chris Strahan.
Okay.
From this band is now a part of the Infatuation.
Oh, okay.
Which is a fairly successful band here,
Uh-huh.
and very good. Infatuations are very cool. But if you have access, or if you can do some internet searching and find yourself some Blue Eyed Soul, good stuff.
What kind of music is it?
I'd say it's hard rock, but it's very funky. It's very bluesy, and Chris would have told you at the time that like one of his big influences at the time is actually like Dr. Dre, like that kind of type of stuff. I shouldn't put words in their mouth, but I remember him saying things like that. That it was like almost like a mix of like hard rock and like soul or something along those lines. But very cool album. The album's called Delicious. They have another album that came out before that I highly doubt you'd be able to find it on the internet. Mm-hmm. But it was called Moody Colorful Groove. That was had some really cool stuff on it too. And some of the songs on this, 1 or 2 anyway, are kind of like remixes of some stuff that was on Moody Colorful Groove.
Uh-huh.
But if you have any access to find some old Blue Eyed Soul stuff, cool stuff, man. Good bunch of guys, and I just wanted to mention them on a podcast because they probably never have been,
That's cool though. Yeah, absolutely.
But the title track on there, Delicious, and there's another song in there called Smother that are just great songs, man. Just absolute jams,
Acid Groove Records.
Yes, Acid Groove Records,
1990.
which still exists.
Does it?
Yeah. To this day, yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, cool thing. If you can find them, something different, something cool.
Good stuff,
but
man.
Michael Welchins was their lead singer too. He's got a very like distinct, very different voice. And I remember talking to him years ago, and him telling me that like the only thing I wonder that like maybe people would complain is that like, does it always sound like I'm singing the same song? Because he has like kind of that distinct voice, and I don't get that at all.
No.
But yeah, almost like and I'm not saying his voice is like this, but almost kind of like a Geddy Lee from Rush kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Where like his voice is very different. So, but it's cool. I dig it. Not as weird as Geddy Lee's from Rush, but kind of, in that
comparison, if you will.
Nice stuff, man. I like it. For me, it is, and I was talking, and I alluded to this earlier on the show. For me, it is Adrenaline by the Deftones.
Cool.
Their first album, their first full length. Again, very, very different from anything that you will hear by that band today. They've definitely had an evolution in their sound. The thing I love most about the Deftones, though, is they've been able to take on these different sounds, and all of it's heavy. All of it's very, very heavy, for the most part. They do have a lot. They do have some softer sounding songs in there. Not really on this album. I don't think they have anything soft on Adrenaline at all. But it, like I said, it's so different from anything that they've been doing now. It's a very raw. I hate using the word immature, but I'm using immature from it's not something that's bad. I think their sound has become more refined now, but I could pop in Adrenaline. I still like a lot of their songs on there. I could put in Around the Fur, and I like a lot of their songs, or White Pony, or their self-titled. I like it all, really, with them. Adrenaline, though, was what obviously got me hooked onto the Deftones. Deftones is one of my favorite bands of all time. That's where it all started for me, and that's something that I've been listening to a little bit more these past couple of weeks too. More songs from Adrenaline, but definitely I love the Deftones because they have had an evolution in their sound. Like I've said, they can go back and forth, and it's all good. Some bands aren't as successful doing that. Some bands like to experiment too much, and I think it's a mistake for them. I think the Smashing Pumpkins and Billy Corgan's are one of those groups that do a little bit too much of experimenting, and it screws with their sound, and I don't think it's very endearing. I don't think it's very workable for a lot of the fans out there. So, yeah. So Adrenaline, Deftones, check it out. New release of the week, band called Death Wish, Lithium Zion on Sub Pop Records. Very, very indie type of sound again. Very heavy guitars, kind of an old school. Now this is I said I'm not a big fan of old school punk rock. This isn't an old school punk rock band. You can definitely tell that they've taken some inspiration from bands like that. They have a very old school type of vocally sound to them. Mm-hmm. But the music itself, it's not talentless. And I hate saying that. It sounds like such a slap in the face, but it's true when it's talking about old school punk rock. It's not talentless like old school punk rock is. Mm-hmm. There's definitely a lot that goes into the music that Death Wish produces. Very, very good album, though. Lithium Zion, go and check it out on one of my favorite record labels of all time as well, Sub Pop. Sub Pop, one of the early producers of Nirvana stuff, Sunny Day Real Estate, a band that my wife is into a lot, or a group that my wife is into a lot. I think it's pretty good also. Is a guy called So check them out. Like I said, Death Wish, Lithium Zion on Sub Pop Records. Anything else, Josh, from you?
No, that's it, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. I want to check that out.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, I never even heard of them.
Yep, go check it out. Good stuff. Other than that, we're gonna call it a night. We're gonna call it a show. Make sure you stick around though for XCast coming up next, right here on theempiremedia.com. So for Josh, I am Adam. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.